John DeFreitas, real estate professional here, bringing you tips and advice to hopefully help you navigate this real estate market. So I'm making this video because I want to talk to you about the announcement yesterday from the Bank of Canada to raise rates yet again. Another quarter point. That's the 8th consecutive time they've done this. And I want to touch on exactly kind of where they're saying that the economy needs to go to correct this pattern of increased rates. What does this mean for me and you as consumers? And specifically, what does it mean for the real estate market? So their decision to raise rates, again, falls back to the point that we're not exactly where we need to be yet from a trajectory perspective on where inflation's at. Inflation's still far too high. You go to the grocery store right now, your mind is blown. I saw celery on sale for $5.99 the other day. We can't sustain this sort of pressure and this economic situation that we're in. It's not going to happen. So the Bank of Canada is trying to bring the inflationary rate down. Applause to them for that. We all want that. The danger here, if we continue raising rates, is that we're going to plummet ourselves into a deep recession. We also do not want that. So it's a fine balancing act. So I see the approach on raising rates slowly and steadily, but many people believe, and they touched on the fact yesterday, that this is pretty close to the end of the cycle of increases that we've seen. They certainly didn't rule out another increase because they said that's certainly in the cards if need be. And I would even expect potentially another quarter point in early March. But at that point, I see and predict that it's going to quiet down, and they want to let the economy settle in to see what the effects are going to be from these 8 consecutive cycles. The goal here is obviously to bring inflation down, curb spending. Let's face it, Canadians are in debt more than almost any other G8 nation, and we need to do something about it. The government flooded us with additional cash during the pandemic. Rightfully so in some situations, and wrongfully so in my humble opinion in some situations. Combine that with the fact that many people were sitting at home and stockpiling their bank accounts led to the position that we are. Now, the real estate market and what's going to impact, how is this going to be impacted throughout the real estate market, this recent announcement and some of the commentary regarding what they're planning to do over the next potential several months. So if they hold flat after this and they let the dust settle, they even talked about a Q3 possible decrease in rate. That's obviously going to be dependent on what they see happening from an economic perspective. The leading signs need to be positive in terms of where they want it to go. If that's the case, and we do get to a point where there is a slight decrease, and I'm talking quarter point at probably to a half point absolutely at most, it's going to surely reinvigorate confidence back into the real estate market, because let's face it, the buyer pool hasn't depleted. Everybody's just sitting on their hands and waiting out everybody else. So buyers who are in the market are really just kicking tires, to be totally frank, and the sellers that are in the market need to sell mostly, or else they'd be waiting. So this is also a reason that you don't see a high number of sales transactions happening, is because of all this. So the position that this puts us in, essentially, if they do decide to go ahead and decrease rates slightly, is because of that demand. I predict that you're going to find a certainly leveling off of home price reduction, probably by middle of the year to early Q3. If they raise rates another quarter point, I think you'll find another 2.5% to 4.5% decrease generally across the board, across certain markets in the GTA. But Q3, I believe, will be a turning point to leveling this all out and stabilizing prices. My bottom line thought on all this is that if you're contemplating getting into the market, now is certainly a good time. 2 months from now might be a slightly better time, but we don't know. And the beginning of Q3 might be the best time. It's very hard to predict. We can only go by what some of the people in power and pundits are referring to might take place. Regardless, I think we're definitely in that trough period of our market. And if you are looking to buy as an investor, this is certainly around the time to start considering some of that. So it's a really interesting time. There's a lot of things going on. This could go in many different ways, but I thought I would share my insights and give you an update kind of on where we're at. The overnight lending rate's now at 4.5%. You're finding 5-year closed rates hovering close to 7% now on average. So my biggest concern, and the concern of many people out there, or anyone who's about to come up on a renewal cycle, this is the point in which things could change drastically, and we could see the recession that we're inevitably going to be hitting be a bit deeper and steeper than what we're hoping for. This is why I believe they want to avoid any significant further cuts and slowly start bringing that rate back up just slightly. I don't think there's any point in time over the next 24 months, I'm going to predict, that we're going to see rates come even close to where they were at the very beginning of 2022, if we ever see that, to be honest, in our lifetime again. So with that being said, there's a little bit of real estate update and advice for you if you're looking to get into the market. We're pretty much at the precipice of that point in time to make sure that you're buying your property at the right price rather than selling it at the right price. If you're looking for more real estate information, advice, or just guidance on general thoughts around property valuations and the market, I'd love to connect with you. Hope to reach out to all you real soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.